Everyone loves some juicy SY softball hecky. It will only happen on Chronicles with Hank. Everyone's waiting for the next episode. It will only happen when we are in the car. Carpool Chronicles, Carpool Chronicles, Carpool Chronicles, Carpool Chronicles.
Hank first pitch to me, 8-3, over, Hank to work.
All right, we are back.
We are back
with episode 10. A little bit of a different scenery today. Sammy Sutton is not with us. I wonder if you guys are going to appreciate that more, maybe less.
Definitely more.
But yeah, definitely more. But we're going to miss that Sammy spice that he always gives, the sugar and spice. But today we have a very special guest who will play co-host with me today, and that is the Phenom himself.
Let's go. Happy to be here.
Edmund Beyda.
Happy to be here. Thank you, all hosts, for these beautiful sunglasses. You can see that.
Yes.
They're beautiful.
So this segment is presented to you by Ojos, the greatest sunglasses on earth. Now, is it a coincidence that Edmund Beyda, the Phenom, is here with me in the car? It happens to be. It is a coincidence. We have an LBA game tonight, which we will be playing versus Sammy Surui and Uri Adler. I guess we'll get to that later in the show. It is not important, but something controversial has cropped up in this past week, Sunday, the games, the wild card matchup. So Yogi likes doing a mic'd up session. It's a segment produced by Yogi Kassan. It's an excellent segment, and
Thank you, Yogi. Shout out. We love you.
It featured throughout the year guys like Saban and Mocas, and I think Maxi D did one.
Yep.
They were all really, really funny and great. And this past one on Sunday, they got the long-awaited Mo Haber to do game one of the wild card matchup. And it was, to say the least, it was very entertaining, but at the same time, very controversial. Right when that episode came out, within a few minutes of that episode coming out, fireworks started shooting out of every single softball chat that we're on. The things that came out of Mo Haber's mouth were like a little eye-opening. A lot of hecky about his own team, and right off the bat, we heard Mo Haber say, we didn't know the context of anything, that his pitcher was a baby, quote unquote. And he also mentioned that he was very jittery and nervous on the outset of the game. We have Edmund in the car now. We're going to get his full reaction and full story and take on that whole episode, which would make for fantastic discussion. Edmund, let us know what your emotions are, how you're feeling, and what happened there.
So yeah, definitely.
What's the backstory?
So definitely some juicy SY softball hecky. Definitely. I gotta say, I was shocked to see that video.
Yeah, you were flabbergasted on the chat. You were saying, I'm speechless.
Happens to be, I was, first of all, to see, out of all the guys, I know obviously Mo Haber was on the mic, but out of all the guys, for someone to say something like that, it's not Mo Haber. Mo Haber was the guy who had my back all season long, said all the right things to me, and, for him to say some of the things that he said, it was, mind-boggling. Uncharacteristic.
Is it uncharacteristic, though?
I don't know, honestly. Let's get into it. So, the reason that I was called a baby is because So I'll take you back to Friday at around 4 p.m. We're at Abe Haber's house.
So Friday, 2 days before the game.
2 days before the game. We're game planning. There's 5 of us there. And, you know, we're all talking about game planning. What are we going to do versus the Tar Heels? And me personally, after seeing Uri Adler play shortstop versus you guys, Plakata, in the play-in game, I thought Uri was great. I thought Uri was amazing. I thought his glove was great. He had the leadership that we needed. He was running out the balls. My outfielders were saying that they were more comfortable with Uri at short. You know.
So what happened the entire season? Who was at short? So Eric Citron
was at short the whole entire year. Credit to Eric. He did an amazing job. He really did. His glove is not a problem for YMSL at short, not at all. But it's the other side of shortstop that you need to have, which is command, leadership. You got to be the leader of the infield.
Vocal.
You got to be vocal.
You got to take cutoff throws.
You got to take cutoff throws. You got to be the guy that's making sure that everybody's ready and making sure everybody knows where to throw the ball and all that kind of stuff. And
you didn't see that.
And I didn't see that out of Eric this year. And he's a young kid, and I think with time and really understanding the position, he'll be an amazing shortstop. But for now, I think it's best that he stays at third. So, bottom line, we're talking at Abe Haber or Mo Haber's house, and
I heard you guys had a nice chill there, some beers.
We had a nice chill, beers, tea time. It was definitely a good time. We did it all spring, all season long. We did it, and we came to the conclusion together as a team, the 5 guys that were there, that Uri was going to play shortstop. It was a lot of back and forth with Eric. They didn't want to push him out of the position. They felt bad because of his grandmother or grandfather, was it? Grandmother. I'm so sorry, Eric, by the way. But they didn't.
Finally had a valid reason for not showing up to it.
Yeah, no Montreal.
Yeah.
Bottom line, we ended up saying that Uri was going to play short. We left Mo Haber's house all happy and everything. I was more comfortable, to be honest, because the way that Uri played in that Plakatas game, I just thought he was really good. He did everything that we needed, and it's something that we lacked in the regular season that I saw we were building.
So earlier that day when you played the 61s, was Uri at shortstop when he lost those 2 games?
So no, Ruby Saka was at shortstop for those 2 games. Ruby had a little bit of a rough day. He was on his knees a lot. We all know that he loves to throw from his knees, and he wasn't so accurate, throwing over Mo's head, under the glove, scoops, this and that.
To be fair,
wasn't so good.
Ruby has been better at second base. Made a couple of nice plays.
Yeah,
but when you
definitely
have guys out of position like that, I feel like Uri should have been the shortstop that day.
Mm-hmm.
When you have guys out of position and you have Ruby at shortstop, it messes everything up. I remember seeing an error in 1 inning. Uri made an error at third, then Ruby made an error at short, and then what's his name? Sal made an error at short center, like in 1 inning.
Right. So the thing was,
out of sorts.
So to me, Ruby was never in the conversation for sure. Everybody knew going into the season after the draft that it was between Uri or Eric. Ruby was never in the convo. I don't know how Ruby ended up there. I didn't really have a problem with it.
That's fine. So
I was very locked in.
On that Friday, you guys made a decision.
We made the decision. We all left. I remember Mo Haber specifically telling Uri, "You're at short. Be prepared. Get ready, and we're gonna rock and roll." I left Friday very happy. Again, I'm not the captain. I try to give as much input as I can. But I wanted Uri at short. I really did, and that was it. I
heard that was a great glue moment for your team. Sal Fallis came and took a sprint down there.
So Sal Fallis came. Sal Fallis came. He pulled up. He got out of his car and he instantly started doing laps. It was great to see. It was. There was so many movies in my head where
coming out of that Friday, you guys were on a high. You were ready to come in on Sunday and kill it.
Definitely. We all had great conversations. We were all very confident.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody saw us going down like that. Not ourselves, not me, not anybody in the league. And
all right, we'll get to the matchup after.
I won't jump.
We'll get to the matchup after. So what happened Saturday night, Sunday morning? What transpired after that?
So I heard that Abe Haber reached out to Uri on Saturday night, not telling anybody else, including his first round pitcher, that
fascinating.
Uri was gonna be playing third. Okay, now listen. At the end of the day, I wasn't gonna fight it. You know, I wasn't going in Sunday morning saying no way. Uri's playing short. I'm not having it. It's definitely not what I did.
Why did he only tell Uri and not anybody else?
I don't know. I wish he told me so that when I walked in Sunday morning to the field, I didn't. You know, I was.
You would be calmer.
I was not even calmer. I was just thrown off by the whole thing. It was like, did we not like what happened on Friday? Like I don't understand. Like. You know, you heard from 5 different people that's what we thought we wanted, or we knew we wanted, and we thought that it was going to be a much better play for you guys to come in on Sunday and totally shut it down, and then for us to see on the mic'd up, Mo Haber is telling you guys... Am I allowed to curse on this? No, right?
Yeah, hold on from the curse.
Okay, so Mo Haber is saying that... Or Mo Haber told Abe specifically that we were nagging, I'll say, about the play. Nobody was really nagging. I wouldn't call Itching Bay, we'll say. Okay. And you see Abe say on the video that he doesn't care. You know, that he doesn't care. This is what it has to be. Again, no conversation whatsoever. No, Edmund, let me talk to you on the side. You know, I made a decision that Eric's going to play short. I think that's the best way to do it. I hope you're okay with it. No, blah, 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 blah. None of that. I got none of that. I walked in. He goes, Eric's playing short.
Abe tells you this.
Or Mo, one of them told me. I don't remember. Okay. Maybe Mo told me that by the way, Mo's not even the so-called captain.
We'll talk about that later. So you got a little frazzled right off the bat when they told you that, like what like taken aback a little bit.
So I told myself in the beginning that it didn't affect me, or after the game I said that it didn't affect me. I won't say that the gameplay because Eric was at short affected us. No, that's not what happened. But when I walked in, I was definitely thrown off. I mean, I specifically told you that I was more comfortable. But whatever. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you're the captain. You run the team how you want. I don't like how you did it. I think there was much better ways to do it. So call me Saturday night. So talk to me on the side before we start. Do it the right way. And we would have avoided it. And you know what? Who would have knows what would have happened? You know, because, you know, you watch the video and you just... It's not what you want to see. Not what you want to see, especially from Mo Haber.
Right. So let's say if the mic up never happened. And the comments never happened, never transpired. But this whole thing went down. They made up on Friday that they were going to go with Uri at shortstop. They back out. They only tell Uri on Friday. And then they came into the game and they went over to before the game with no mic. And they said, listen, Edmund, we made a decision. Uri is playing third. Would that have been better than what transpired with the whole mic?
Well, I mean, obviously.
That added fuel to the fire.
I mean, it added fuel to the fire. I was very upset to see that. First of all, Mo, I don't know why you kept on saying that I had jitters. I mean, I played in the World Series last year. I filled in for you when Maxi Deed got hurt as a rookie.
Yeah, you're the last guy.
As a rookie, and then you're saying the whole time that I have the jitters. Maybe you were just trying to protect your own eyeball. You know, maybe it was your fault that I was all... Not maybe, you know, it was. I'm sorry to say it, but it was. That was the reason why I was so fired up. Everybody saw it on the mic'd up. You saw when you came up to me, you knew exactly why. And
so he made a cute comment. He said, I think my pitcher is better when he has the jitters. I think he pitches better.
Yeah, all right. Maybe he wants to clear it up. But that didn't bother me. I was okay. You know, if you want to say that I have jitters, it's a normal thing to say. Everybody gets nervous.
But he was saying that you had jitters because of the comment he made to you about the defensive alignment. And you got shaken up about it. That's what he was going back to.
It was a very weird thing for me to watch, to be honest. The way it all unfolded, it was just very weird. He was making it look like I was really nervous, and that was the reason why I was so tense. And, you know, there's a lot of video on the mic'd up that was cut out, I must say. Because I remember speaking to Mo Haber, and he had the mic on, and we covered it, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of good stuff in there. It's a shame that it's not on the video.
Really? They cut out a lot of the good stuff?
Oh, yeah. I told Mo Haber specifically that I wasn't comfortable.
Wow.
I said, I'm not comfortable. Switch it.
Yogi, why don't you put that on, Yogi? I'm calling you out, Yogi.
I think he said because... And I only said switch it because that's, you know, because you had Uri who was riding high knowing he was coming in playing short. You had all I'll say 2 outfielders happy that they're throwing to Uri, not Citron, which is not a bad thing. Yeah. It's again because he is a lot more vocal, and you know, so it was just a throw off for you to go and shut down the whole thing. When we all decided, and then after that, Mo Haber tells you on the video that we're all not okay with it, and for some reason you thought that it would be smart to just keep it the way it was. So I don't know. Very weird. I don't know why you did that.
Coming out of Friday, you guys were so excited, so amped up, so much glue
listen,
there, and then everything just fell apart when you saw that the captains didn't have your back and just backstabbed all you guys, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say... Listen, we didn't lose because Eric was at shore. Like, I don't want people to think that's the reason, you know? Like, yes, I might have been frustrated, but I still pitched my ABBA off. Right. I still pitched my ABBA off. I didn't let it get to me. At least in the moment, I didn't let it get to me. But...
I think it's fair to say that if the Habers had a... what do they call it? If they would have been able to go back on what they did, I'm sure they would have changed. I'm not sure what made them come to this decision to change what they told their top players on Friday, coming into Sunday.
Yeah.
Shabbat. What made that?
Literally,
were they scared to tell Eric Citron's the most abuse Adami kid? He would love to play anywhere. He's just happy to play.
Yeah. So that
didn't make sense to me.
I think that's the reason.
They got cold
feet. It's gotta be the reason. Why else wouldn't they have done it?
Did they feel bad that he just lost his grandmother?
I think so.
Something doesn't add up.
Hazit to Eric, really, but I really do think that's the main reason. I mean,
okay, so this is what I'm coming out of this. Mo Haber, after that mic'd up session came out, he heard a lot of sparks coming out of different chats that Edmund was on and the different guys in the league are on, and he reached out to me. He said, "Guys, like, how come you, Hank, can go on the Carpool podcast and say whatever the hell you want about anybody about softball, obviously not about their family, not about their personality, about their softball prowess, and I'm not allowed to do some dahak thing on mic'd up?" So right off the bat, I told him, Mo, you're 100% right. Like, from what I heard on that mic'd up, if you don't know context of what happened before that, okay, it was a little like poke at your pitcher, but it was all fun and games, right? Like, okay, don't be so sensitive, right? I agreed with him right off the bat. I'm like, Mo, you're 100% correct.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be that sensitive, especially in the YMSL league where there's darts thrown all over the place. You know, you got it. You got to just. And then when I started hearing context and the story behind it, then it started getting a little dicey. And I didn't love what transpired with the whole captaincy thing with Abe and with Mo and what happened on Friday, Sunday, Friday, Motzei Shabbat, and Sunday. I just didn't like what went down. And I don't know, my opinion was, I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Bottom line, we're all good in Stratton. You know, the video that came out, I think we're all over it. It was, you know, I myself was pissed for maybe 25 minutes after it came out. But I mean, I instantly got over it. I mean, you know, I just think I had to say my side of the story. It wasn't right that, you know, you just call me a baby and nobody knows the context. Whatever, nobody knows the context, and just wasn't fair. I don't think it was fair to me.
So maybe to Mo's credit, maybe Mo was thinking to himself, nobody knows what happened in our clubhouse. Nobody knows what happened on Friday. Let me just say stuff. And nobody will know. Like, maybe they'll just think I'm calling Edmund a baby. It's a stupid little poke. Calling JT washed up and whatever. And that's it. You know, call it a day. Like, nobody knows the background story. I didn't know the background story when I saw it. I didn't think anything of it.
I don't know. Maybe
I think if this whole thing wouldn't have came up, if the whole backstory didn't come up, I feel like people would have just, in 3 days, forgot about it.
100%.
That's what I feel like.
100%.
But obviously, Edmund didn't appreciate it, and I don't blame him for that. And he wants the league and the softball world to know his side of the story. And this is why we're here. And I appreciate you giving us your side of the story.
Listen, I have nothing against these guys. You know, I had a really fun year. At the end of the day, it was a great season. A lot of ups and downs. I know it didn't go the way that we wanted to. You know, I had a good time in Stratton. It's unfortunate how it ended. It's unfortunate that this mic'd up even came out, if you ask me. Even for Mo's sake. I mean, what happened if we split?
3, right?
What happened if we split and this comes out? What happens?
I think you would need another Friday with Thursday night with beers.
So you could obviously tell that Mo Haber was acting a little much on the video, saying a lot of things, You could definitely tell.
Mo Haber's must-see TV.
I don't know if he forgot that he
that.
was mic'd up for a second. I mean, I know he told Abe to be careful what he says because he was mic'd up, so it was very, crazy. I didn't expect it at all, and I want to know what he's thinking also. Maybe we should get him on here.
He's probably going to come on, like, next possible time I go into the city. He's going to say, okay, Hank, I'm just coming with you to the city. We're going to do a whole podcast, and we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, listen, I'm not here to get back at these guys. It's nothing like that. It was, it was a very overhyped thing, if you ask me, looking back at it now, because it was so dumb.
Right.
But yes, everybody does deserve to hear the full story. And, if you're going to paint the picture, you got to paint it right.
Love it. Let me ask you a question. Would you feel comfortable about talking about the catcher situation that transpired on Friday or Sunday, or you would let those parties involved?
I mean, we could go into it a little bit. So Fonz actually texted me today. Fonz is upset at me, and I know for a fact. So for anybody that doesn't know, Fonz caught the whole year. Jody was DHing. He was amazing. I know there was a lot of rumors that Fonz wasn't supposed to play, yada, yada, yada. I was supposed to cover the plate.
Wait a second. So he was supposed to play catcher, but you cover the plate when balls come in from the outfield.
Well, that was the original plan. I never felt comfortable with it because, I can't imagine somebody, being thrown out of their position while they're still there, Yeah. I was definitely not comfortable doing it. Me and Fonz never had this conversation before until after the season. I was asked to cover the plate from week 3, if not, maybe even week 4 or something like that, very early in the season. I respect Fonz big time. I respect anybody that plays in this league. I would never, even if they're playing bad, I would never, cut them off and tell them to move over so I can make the play. That's not who I am. Mm-hmm. And I specifically told Mo and Abe, I said, if you guys want me to make the plays at the plate, you're going to have to be the one to tell Fonz. Now, Fonz got into a little accident on the Garden State on the way to the field. Okay?
Did Mo Haber get him an Uber to come right after that? Usually he does that.
I don't know.
Players.
I mean, I wasn't thinking
Mo's
anything.
Mo's slacking a little bit.
Anyways,
Mo Money. Where's the Mo Money days? What's going on?
So Fonz is coming late. Jody's catching. Fonz texted me today. You could see on the video Abe saying, I asked Edmund if he's vibing with Jody. He said yes, so we're going to keep him in. Fonz, I'm talking directly to you.
What time did Fonz show up to the game?
Hold on. Maybe second inning, I could be wrong. Third inning, I could be wrong. I don't know exactly.
I heard rumors that he got to the field at 8:08 a.m. I'm sorry, 9:08 a.m.
9:08 a.m. I don't remember it being that late because I remember like early in the game them asking me if I wanted to change it.
It's 8 minutes late.
You said, oh, you're saying...
You guys started at 8:30?
You gassed me with the 8.
Did you start at 8:30?
We started at 9 o'clock.
I heard he came 8 minutes late.
I don't know if he was there 8 minutes late. I was very, very into my own stuff at the field. I don't know when he came. All I know is Abe came up to me, asked me if you're vibing with Jody. I said yes. And that was it. Now, Fonz, I'm getting back to this. I'm talking directly to you. You are a catcher. You know how important it is to keep a pitcher in rhythm, okay? As much as I would have loved you catching, and again, Jody's awesome. I have nothing against Jody. Jody's a great catcher, and he's awesome. He really is. I had a great time with him. Nothing to say that you're not good or anything like that. But I know you're upset that I didn't put you in the third inning. Okay, but that's not how it was going to be done. I was vibing. It was a 1-0 lead, and that's just what happened.
So this was your decision?
I mean, not really. Abe asked me if I was vibing. I said yes, and he said, okay, Jody's going to stay out. I mean,
so the Habers were ready to take Jody out of the game.
If he asked me, he might have asked me, actually. Maybe it was my decision. He might have asked me, do you want to put Fonz in? I probably said no. I'm in rhythm. Me and Jody are doing good now. Why put him in? It doesn't make sense. Give him an at-bat. Figure it out. Okay. That's it. Done.
Okay, wow. So you take ownership on that. I was thinking in my head...
it has nothing to do with who's better.
I was thinking in my head, they didn't want him catching. Maybe they found a good excuse to get him out and just have Jody just say, oh, Edmund's vibing.
It's possible.
But I guess you're saying that, no, you
I just didn't want... No, it had nothing to do with who's better. It had nothing to do with any of that. I was in rhythm and I just didn't want to change. There was no reason for it. If there was a reason for it, I would have did it. But there was no reason for it. I was pitching good up until that point.
Okay.
And, you know, Fonz, I'm telling you right now, it had nothing to do with you. It was just for rhythm, okay? And you're a catcher. You should understand this. So don't get mad at me because I wanted to keep things the same, you know? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. I just want to put it out there. Fonz, I'm talking to you. I'm a much better catcher than you, and it's not close. Okay, next. Okay, so that's Fonz. I want to talk about...
Getting into the captainship?
I want to talk about the captainship in general. Forget about, let's say Friday never happened. Let's say Friday never happened, Sunday never happened.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Haber captainship situation. Who was the captain? Was Abe Haber the captain? Was Mo Haber the captain? Was Mo behind the scenes doing stuff that Abe was just putting out there?
So
Was Abe the guy? Were they contradicting each other? Were they in sync with each other? What was the story? What was... Give me the...
When I first was drafted, Abe was in control. Obviously, we got Mo later on. Abe was the captain.
Okay.
Mo Haber was definitely running things behind the scenes. Now, I don't know if they were doing it together or not.
He did reach a little for him in the draft.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Abe and Mo said, like, we're going to run this team together. I don't know if Abe was telling Mo, I'm captain, you're not, stay out of it. I don't know if Mo, like, I don't know the behind the scenes, but from what I saw, Abe was really sending out the little things like scouting and positioning, lineups, but Mo Haber was really leading. Mo Haber was the guy saying the right things. You know, Abe was also, you know, I can't take credit. Like, I'm not saying Abe was a bad captain.
Okay.
But Mo was definitely running things behind the scenes, 100%.
But that sounds like a team effort. Like, I don't mind that.
Listen, there was definitely no going back at each other. There was no fighting whatsoever.
Okay.
I mean, I know for a fact they definitely spoke things through before making a decision. I mean, we clearly saw that in the mic'd up. I don't know if that affected us. You know, I mean, they are father-son. We know that Mo was captain last year, or captain 2 years ago, and not captain anymore. He wants to be captain next year. I don't know if it hurt us, you know, because at the end of the day, I feel like a decision is always made between two guys. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe the father and son thing might have affected it, but I mean, I really don't think it. I don't know. There was a lot of pressure on us this year, man.
Right.
There was a lot of pressure on all of us. I don't know if it had to do with that. I don't know if it had to do with, like, I can't say, like, I went into the season knowing who's captain and who's, like, not knowing who's captain and who's not. I mean, I didn't pay attention to those things. At the end of the day, it was just, you know, let's play ball. Exactly, that's what it was.
Yep.
So it's very hard for me to give you an answer on that.
So I'll give you my opinion.
Abe
Haber
Let's see what you got to say.
Abe Haber has been a captain of this league without his dad on the team.
Yeah, last year Circle of Trust.
He obviously last year Circle of Trust, he didn't have as much adversity. He won a lot more ball games. I feel like that team was a lot smoother than Stratton was, even though like the personalities on the team, like the guys on Stratton are very easy to deal. Look at the guys up and down the team.
Yeah.
Guys like Ellie, Grace, Buka. These guys are quiet, good enemy guys. Citron, Ori is a little pain in the ass, but he's fine.
It definitely didn't make sense, Hank. It definitely didn't make sense.
At the end of the day, and Abe Haber, right? He led Mo Money to a championship. That team had a lot of personalities on it. He led that team like a champ.
When you look at this team,
I feel like Abe and Mo together on the team were a little bit like oil and water, it was a little bit of a frictious.
It's very possible. Now, I didn't see much of that, but I was going to ask you, when you see our team,
I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I'm just seeing the outcome of the fireworks and everything that happened. It seems like it didn't work as well as them being captain by themselves. That's all I'm saying.
It's very possible.
Is it that, or was it just how things transpired?
I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it really came down to that series. You know,
Right.
Just, you know, that's all it came down to. You know, we could have easily been past this, and we could have won, and there would have been no sparks, and there would have been no question marks, and so I don't know. I was going to ask you, when you look at our team, do you look at it as a clicking team? When the draft first came out and all the hype was real, and when Stratton was known to be one of the best 3 teams in the league, did did you look at it and say, wow, like this team, like they have all the pieces, all the guys are great, it's such a clicking team. Like, do you look at it and say, what happened? Why didn't they click? Like, is that what you?
So
because that's my question.
We'll go back. Let's go back to draft day. Okay.
Let's do it.
Abe Haber made a very bold move by taking this guy 7, taking Uri 10.
Yes.
2 very bold moves.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, after the draft was over, we all looked at it, even though we were like, oh my God, I can't believe he took Edmund so early. That's really early for him. I can't believe he took Uri so early. We looked at the team and said, wow, he actually drafted a very good team. He had a good game plan, and he came through, and he picked a great team. And up and down, he ended up getting guys in spots that, guys felt them. He ended up getting Buka and Sal at a good spot. Buka fell a lot. Race got picked in the 40s, and he's going to end up going in the 20s this year. We'll get to that in another episode.
Definitely.
But the draft, he really drafted well, and guys fell into his draft.
He drafted
guys fell into his lap.
Abe, you did draft great.
He drafted very well.
You built a great team, fun team, and
So coming out of the draft, week 1, you guys swept a bad team, right? Nanu Nation. Good.
Then
After that week, we were like, hey, this team looks like it's going to be a team that's going to teeter with the first 3 seeds, and by the end of the year, these guys are going to be real. And then as the season started to go on, they started to have some games where they just didn't look right.
So Z said
everybody was there.
Yeah, Z said
they blew a game versus us, versus Plakata. They blew a game versus a couple of bad teams, like head scratchers that you would think that they would, games that they would win in their sleeps. And they just, you guys, they didn't look good in those few times. Then, down the stretch, when we thought you guys were going to get smashed by the 12 Commandments in week 7, you guys came out and actually had a really, it was week 6, I'm sorry. You guys had a strong week, and you split with 12 Commandments. Guys were arguing that you should have swept the 12 Commandments.
Definitely.
And then we were like, okay, what is going on with this team? Do they stink, or are they great? Very hard team to figure out. Every other team in the league, they were basically characteristic. You guys were from week to week. Even the 61s, they started cold, but then they got hot and they stayed hot.
So I think
it wasn't up and down. You guys were up and down and up and down.
I mean,
so
he said it. We started
very hard to understand.
We started 3-1, and then it was, as he said, 4-10 after that. I don't know how that makes sense, but it was something ridiculous like that. We went 3-1, and then we just
a lot
fell
of disappointment.
On our faces. Yeah, definitely.
Again, week 6, you guys came to play. You guys were feeling good about yourselves. And then everything went down.
So
week 7 was bad.
I thought week 6 was the turning point. I really did. 2 tough, hard fall games versus 12 Commandments that we really could have swept easily if Ali Marshall didn't come through in a big spot. But I mean, I really don't know what to say. I'm still trying to figure out where we went wrong. Because it definitely wasn't us hitting fly balls versus 80 sack. I think it's more than that. I think it's
very
definitely more than that.
It's very hard to boil down to Stratton's downfall. Certain teams, it's pretty easy to boil down to it. You look at a team like Plakata. We got underperformances by 3-4 players, and there's your season. That's why you didn't make the playoffs. Hank sucked. Gabe sucked. Eddie Harari didn't pitch up to his potential. That's what happens. You have 3 guys that you pick on the top of your draft board. They don't come to play. You're not going to make the playoffs. That's just the way it is. Stratton was just a head scratcher. You had guys having career years, and even Edmund had a good year, right? Middle of the pack, but good. Solid year, and they did not make the playoffs. Was it the captaincy? Was it just, I don't know.
I definitely didn't have the year that I wanted to have. I'll say that. I came into we won 3 games.
You were 7.
I went 7. We won 3 games when I looked the worst probably in my life. I mean, those first 4 games, 2 versus Nanu and 2 versus Tar Heels, I was lost. Couldn't find. I just didn't. I don't know. I just wasn't there, and we were winning games. So it just doesn't make sense. When I got better, we started losing.
Right.
You know?
It's a discussion for another time, but
Definitely.
I don't think you're going to drop much in the draft just because you're a guy that knows how to throw strikes and has a good fastball
Yep.
and knows how to locate. So that's so valuable. And we'll get to the matchup of Stratton versus the Hills right now. But a guy like A.B. Saka, that's what he does. He throws fastballs.
Yeah.
He knows how to locate.
Definitely.
So before we get to this,
happy for him.
yeah,
So
before we
happy
get
for
to
him.
this, before we get to this segment, I want to say that this next segment is brought to you by G&G Realtors. Reach out to Milo Sutton.
Yeah, let's go, Milo.
Milo Sutton is Sammy's Sammy's mom. Reach out to her with all your real estate needs. And it is also presented to you by
Bracelets and bands.
Bracelets and bands. Reach out to Jack Beebe for any of your jewelry needs. I personally got a pair of earrings for my wife.
Let's go, fellow banana, Jack Beebe.
She loves them.
Love you,
and,
man.
I got a great deal. So reach out to him. You will not be disappointed. Okay, let's move on. Now, the actual matchup. What I saw from an outsider's perspective, that matchup, I predicted that the Tar Heels would win the series in 3. I did not think they were going to sweep that series. Now, I remember waking up that morning, late Sunday morning, turning on the app. I was all excited. And just seeing the Tar Heels starting to score runs and score more runs. Guys like Jack Abadi, Jimmy came to play, Yak came to play. Their offense showed up, especially the top guys. Then, the other side of the ball, we see A.B. Saka just getting out after out after out. And we're thinking to ourselves, is this Nabi? Like, what is going on here? Every guy is flying out, grounder, fly out, grounder, fly out. Unbelievable. And it just kept going and going and going. And they kept getting great at-bats from their top bats. And that's how they won game 1 4-0. I think Jimmy had 2 big... It was a 4-0 win, right?
I think it was a little bit more than that. No? Game 1?
Game 1 was...
Anyways.
Was it 7-0?
I think it was 7. I think it was 7 and then 13. That's
7 and then 13.
I mean, yeah, keep on going. Let's see
they got a couple of very big hits from Jimmy. I remember hearing in the mic'd up that there was a couple of... there was one time that Jack got to second base. By the way, Jack
Nathan you're talking about, or Jack
Abadi got to second base on a
Abadi
double.
Was unbelievable.
He was rocketing everything all over the place. He looked like Kamba's Jack Abadi, which is great to see. He got to second base, and Jimmy behind him should have been walked. I thought he should have been walked, and I think Mo Haber thought he should have been walked. Mo came to the mound, and Edmund said, "No, you know what? I want to go after." What was Yak up, and then Jimmy was up next?
I believe it was Jimmy.
All right, so Jimmy was up, and then Yak was up next. He's like,
Mo wanted me to walk Jimmy. I didn't want to walk Jimmy because I didn't want to face Yak.
You didn't want to face Yak. You faced Jimmy, and you got burned twice.
I got burned twice.
Got burned twice in that first game.
One of the times it was a 3-2 count, and me being stupid, instead of going after him hard, like Sandy Shalom was saying, and putting him on, like worst comes to worst, putting him on. Instead, it was a 3-2 count, and I gave a strike.
Threw him a cookie.
Yeah, and I threw him a strike, and he hit it. You know, definitely my fault. I take full blame for that. I take full blame for Jack Barnathan's double. It was an 0-2 count. I had him looking at the stars.
So that started in the second rally or the first rally?
So it was 1-0.
It was 1-0.
1-0 in the
he
first.
Started the second
Got
rally.
out of it 1-0. Jack Barnathan started the second rally with a double. I had him 0-2. I threw my changeup and I missed badly. I put it right over the plate, a little bit on the outer half of the plate. Credit to Jack Barnathan. He went with the pitch and he rocked it, and it was a double.
The amount of power that 5'5", 100-pound kid can output is pretty amazing. Jack Barnathan.
Definitely my fault. Bad mispitch by me. Happens to the best of us. I take full responsibility, and then Jack Abadi got him in.
Wait a second. So JT was up next.
JT was up next.
He had a grounder.
I think he errored.
I feel like he hit like seven grounders.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. He was up. So there was first and second, and then Jacobati hit a bomb. Not a bomb, a beautiful shot. I think it went past Ruby and Sal and scored in Barnathan.
Yep.
And they just kept on going from there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so what I saw from A.B. Saka in his performance was he was able to locate. I feel like you do this a lot also. You locate the fastball at a level where the batter has a very hard time getting on top of it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool.
That, I feel like that's the way you pitch, and that's how you get a lot of fly balls. But AB was locating with precision.
He was.
He didn't throw any fastballs down in the zone where guys could get their bat heads out and hit line drives to right center. Instead, he was living up and in, and even up in the zone, over the plate, and he was getting just weak fly balls and even deep fly balls. But those are outs in this league, and that's how he had success the whole Sunday. And you guys didn't adjust.
So let me tell you, as a batter on Sunday, AB was excellent, no question, getting ahead, throwing strikes. But I won't say that it was unhittable. I mean, you know,
it's softball.
It's softball.
Yeah, it's definitely more your bad than his good.
Like
as much as I love AB and he pitched great, there's no reason why there was 4 hits on the day.
No reason. It was
sorry,
not 5
that's
4 hits on the
unacceptable.
day. It was unacceptable. Are you done saying what you thought? I mean, after I watched the mic'd up video, it got a lot more clear to me on why we were in the slump and why we didn't adjust. I mean, you could just see our dugout. We're all sitting, no fire, no, like, come on, like, we're not going down like this. I'm a guy that never goes down, and on Sunday, I went down bad.
I feel like that was more in game 2, though. I feel like game 1, you guys had more energy.
Yeah, game 1.
You felt like you were still
Game 1
alive.
could have went either way. Either way. I mean, it was a 3-0 game up until the 6th inning.
Yeah.
There's no reason we shouldn't score 1 or 2 in the first inning, 2nd inning, 3rd inning, 4th inning. No reason.
Right.
But I think we were just all so down, and like, you could see it. You could, I don't know if it was Mark Braha, Jake Braha. Somebody said on the highlights, like look at them, like
they
look at
lifeless.
them, like they're lifeless.
Yeah.
And you see Uri get up and say, guys, get up. And there was just not enough of that. And that's what you need. That's what you need. You need the camaraderie, and you need the unitedness and the energy.
Yeah,
I'm a guy that, you know, people run on blood. I run on energy and fire in my body, and everybody knows that. You give me fire, and I'll go crazy. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that's the reason, blah, blah, yada, yada. But I'm saying because, you know, you can,
but from experience, you get energy from getting ahead in a game.
Definitely getting
very hard
ahead.
to generate energy when you're down.
But you can't,
very hard.
But you can't say let's not fight back, and just because it's a 3-0 game, let's go lifeless. You can't say that.
100%.
You know, I mean, how many times have we seen in this league the robbery last year, the amount of comebacks in this league?
Yeah.
And it's just sparked by one little thing.
Yeah.
I
want to mention one thing about the Tar Heels. Everybody's talking about the Tar Heels, and they think a lot of guys are saying, "Oh, they're going to upset the 12 Commandments." We'll get to that later, that matchup. But the Tar Heels didn't get a lot of production from the bottom of their order. You really shut them down.
Yeah.
Besides for that Jack Barnathan hit,
and IG had a couple hits, but other than that,
IG had hits in the second game. I feel like the game was out of hand.
Game 1 he didn't really do much. Game 2,
but the game was out of hand. I don't feel like
you're
they
right,
had.
You're right. You're 100%
the only
right.
the one consequential hit that the bottom of the lineup had. I'm talking about from Ralph Hannon all the way down.
Jack Barnathan's double.
Was Jack Barnathan's double? That was the only hit on the day.
Definitely.
Everybody else was like meh.
Definitely.
So that's something very big to look at. We'll talk about that with the 12 Commandments coming up. But Game 2, I feel like with that yacht grand slam that he hit in the first inning. Was it the first inning?
First inning.
The first inning. After that, you guys were done. That was the nail in the coffin. That's when the energy really started coming out of the tires. That was when all the air started coming out.
So yeah, you're not wrong.
On the video, that's when you looked really flat.
You're not wrong. I mean, after the grand slam in Game 2, the first inning.
Let's go through that inning. So JT hit another grounder.
JT hit a grounder to Uri, bobbled. Jacobati came up, got a base hit.
Jimmy?
I think Jimmy got walked.
Jimmy got walked. That was a bad walk.
Or
What
Jack,
happened there?
sorry, JT got on first. Jack Abadi hit a double, if I'm not mistaken, second and third, or maybe it was first and third.
You intentionally walked Jimmy.
I didn't intentionally walk him. This is where I got into that 3-2 count that I was talking about,
Okay.
and I walked him on a 3-2 count, and then Yak came
What
up
did you throw on that 3-2?
high.
Throwing him a fastball?
High.
It was high. Okay.
It
He
was
ducked.
high.
He ducked.
He ducked.
He ducked.
It was
Okay.
high. I think he should have been, I don't know, remember exactly if that was the strike 3 call that I thought was missed. Obviously, I thought it was a little high. Jimmy, you might have been right. It wasn't a strike. But for you, I think it was too close to take. I don't know if it was that at bat.
Jimmy does that. Relies on the umpire.
Yeah. But,
So Yak comes up.
Yak comes up.
And he really got it. That's his one hit on the day.
That's his one hit on the day.
Right.
Off the bat, I thought it was an out. I won't lie. I thought it was an out. You could see
So
me
you
in
guys
the
are playing him
highlights.
for.
So we were playing him 4 across the whole day. We were playing Yak and Jimmy 4 across. Nobody else. Now, the thing that I got confused on, and again, I don't blame any of my Stratton outfielders for this. Kudos to Yak. Good shot, deep left center gap. But I think when you play 4, you're trying to eliminate the gaps. Especially on a guy where everybody knows that Yak Saruya is.
So what were you saying? That they were pinched too much to center field?
Think,
the right center field, left center field pinched too much towards the middle?
I think Race was too much on the line. Buka was too much in center. And I think Ruby and Abe Haber were too close to each other on that right field line. Like, the right field gap was totally blocked.
You have a tendency of blaming your outfielders.
I'm not blaming them.
Last year, Farka.
I'm not blaming
the bomb that I hit over his head. Farka should have caught it.
I'm not blaming them. I just think.
I just had to shut that out.
Maybe I am blaming them. I don't know. I think the positioning was bad. I think the left center gap was too open. I don't want it to sound like a blame.
It's called being Monday morning quarterback.
I love my whole Stratton team, and I'll never say anything bad about any of them, and I don't want to blame any of them. So I'm not going to say that.
I feel like it was also
it's my
over their
fault.
heads,
Yak hit a grand slam.
Was it over their heads also?
It was over their heads.
It was over their
I
heads.
don't blame Buka for not getting it. I really don't. But I think right now, if you do the right positioning, he's out, obviously.
Okay.
But yeah, he hit a bomb. Totally my fault. Bases loaded, nobody outs. Definitely the pressure was on. Credit to Yak. He hit a good shot. And that was it, man. I try not to let it get to me.
From our end, we shut everything down.
I went back to the dugout, slamming my glove. I was pissed at myself. I try not to let it get to me. But with the lack of hitting, it was just slowly taking a little bit, piece by piece, taking me apart. 1, 2, 3 innings, 30 seconds on the bench. Just the right things not being said. Nothing being said at all, actually. And, slowly Tar Heels.
I feel like this is.
Tar Heels slowly, took us piece by piece.
Piece by piece.
That's what happened. It's really what happened,
Yeah. And you know what? I'm very happy. Going in, I was rooting for the Tar Heels. Just my type of team. Love the captaincy. Jack Abadi's doing a phenomenal job there. A lot of boys I have on that team. Jimmy, Yak.
Great team.
Alan.
I thought it was a great team from the
JT.
start. I really did. I definitely didn't see them beating us, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But they came to play. Jack came to play. Yak came to play. Jimmy came to play. A.B. Saka definitely came to play.
Did he? Yes.
And,
JB.
JB came to play, made some sick... Everyone came to play. They all,
they
made sick plays.
First and then threw to second.
That was amazing.
That
was amazing.
That was so
I
nice.
definitely didn't see that coming out of him.
No.
I thought Jody was just going to be safe.
Yes.
But are we moving on to the... I want to say something before we move on.
Let's move on. Go ahead.
Before we move on to the semifinal matchups, this is me talking to Stratton and Stratton only. I loved you guys. I had such a fun time. Even the way we won out, I promise you I would run it back. Maybe with the captain change. But I definitely run it back. I loved it. It was so much fun. It sucks how we went out. No one to blame for it. You want to blame me more than anybody. That's definitely fair. I love you guys. We had such a fun time. The weekends with Race, the calls and the texts with Uri all year long, and it was just amazing. And I don't want anybody to think that I was upset, because I truly loved it. I loved the team. And even the way we went out, I still loved the team. I loved every single guy. Jody LeBeau's, Race, Buka, you know, just great group of guys. Uri, Eric, it was amazing, and I don't think we should forget about the team that we had. I know we went down in a bad way, and we're probably all beating ourselves about it, and we never want to talk Stratton again, but let's not, you know, keep your head up. We had a great year, we had a great vibe, great team, and just didn't go away, but I love you guys, and go Stratton, baby.
You want to hear something really funny? That was great. That was nice. You want to hear something really funny? A guy reached out to me from a guy on Placata. I'm not going to say his name, because maybe he doesn't want me to. I asked him point blank. I asked him, what would you prefer? Being on a team like Stratton, where the entire clubhouse falls apart. I don't know about falling apart, but fireworks at the end.
You're saying knowing end result?
Yeah.
This is knowing end result.
With everything in.
Okay.
With all
Till
in.
today, you said.
Everything.
Yeah. With the mic.
Would you rather that with the mic up? Or would you rather be on Placata where
are you
zero?
Asking me?
No, I was asking this guy.
Because I pick Stratton all day. All day I pick Stratton over.
Would you rather Placata, which is a lowest run team, ho hum, no frills, just show up and play softball, no screaming, no fighting, no strategizing, and he's like, no question in my brain.
Yeah.
It's Stratton. He said. He said I didn't like the fact that there was very little.
Yeah, I mean,
rah-rah, it was very quiet. Yeah, there was no fighting and controversy, but you need that fire.
It's not who
I would take Stratton any day of the week. That's what he told me.
The way we went down.
I disagree with that. I just like showing up and playing softball. Yeah, it's nice to strategize a little bit and having a leader and captaincy and all that. I'm not saying Los wasn't a leader, but having a little more of that oomph from the captain. But I don't know. That's not my style. I don't like the over fire. I don't like too much fire. You know. Maybe
that was the pressure that we all had this year. I don't know. But again, like I said, there was a lot of pressure on us. It just felt like that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Stratton, just not. That's not who we were. The way it showed is not who we were. And for everybody that watched those highlights or was at the game, I'm telling you from now, that's not who we were. It's not. It's not. We didn't show up. We just didn't. We were like the Warriors last year.
It's too late now,
down 13-0.
It's too late now.
Let's get to the matchups. Unless there's anything else you want to add. I think we covered it really good.
Let's get to the matchups.
Let's do it. So we...
Okay, this next segment is brought to you by the Youssef credit card.
Youssef!
Yes.
Use
the Youssef credit card. It has a lot of benefits. And Sammy Simon will tell you more about the Youssef credit card.
By the way, it really does have a lot of benefits. I won't lie.
Tell us about it.
I don't know much, but I know you get I think you get money back.
Tuition?
From a couple stores if you use the credit card in that kind of store.
It's like a debit card, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Cool.
But I remember looking at it and definitely check it out.
Okay, let's get to the semi-final matchups that are happening on Sunday. No game on Friday. That's because the wild card was a sweep. Sunday we have an 8:30 game, 8:30 matchup. BRM, which is better known as the Big Red Machine, versus the 61s, the Jigga 61s. Two really good teams, good solid teams. Obviously, they went through two very different journeys throughout the season. BRM was a team that started the season 8-0. They got a little cold at the end, and then they had a good week 7. Not a great week 7, a good week 7.
Yep.
And the
61s had a great week 7.
The 61s had a totally different, like totally flip-flop season. I'd say they were ice cold in the beginning of the season. They were a team that was looking at the trade deadline. They were a team that was looking to make deals,
100%.
Just change up their entire team.
We all thought we'd see a trade come out from that.
We thought that Zach might be traded. That was a crazy story that not everybody knew about. But that team turned it around in around week 4 or 5. Actually, after they got Eli Braha to play right field, he replaced Nuni. And he came in hot, and he's just playing a great outfield. He bolstered down that outfield. They obviously made changes to their defensive alignment, taking Z, the best shortstop in the league, behind Sammy Soria, putting him in left field. and that made it have Farka in center field, Braha in right, Zach in left, who obviously is a ridiculous outfielder.
Yeah.
Joey Cohen at shortstop, who won a World Series. Joey Cohen at shortstop won a Gold Glove last year and won a championship. They put Jake Braha up the middle.
Excellent.
He's looking great.
Yeah.
Ralph Cohen, natural third baseman, really good there. And then they had Ray Estes, who they had as their catcher, and they threw him at second base, and he's doing a good job. He's making the plays. And Ike Mavora at first base, who always does a good job at first. They really hit their stride, the 61s. They went on a really nice run.
Jiggle catcher, of course.
How many games did they lose down the stretch? They lost one game versus Placata.
Are they 7 of 8 right now?
They lost one game versus Placata, and that game, we played extremely crisp, and we won an 8-7 game.
Yeah.
That's how tight it was. So the 61s are really looking good. As I mentioned in previous podcasts, for some reason, the 61s, I feel like it's not a real hot streak. I feel like they're playing crisp ball.
Yeah.
Good, solid defense. They're getting enough out of their offense. Simcha's putting up good performances, playing to his strengths, playing to his outfield, letting guys launch balls, and having guys catch it out there. I just don't see a lot of oomph from that team. I'm not seeing a firepower. Obviously, Zach always bats 565, 600.
Yep.
I'm not seeing a crazy amount of firepower from especially the top of their order. Farka hasn't been Farka.
So I think I'll speak about the 61s because I really just faced them 2 weeks ago. I hear what you're saying about the firepower, but the truth of the matter is there's one guy who's been really stepping up lately, especially versus our matchup, who I think is really doing a lot of damage, and that's Jake Braha.
Wow.
He was lights out at the plate on our matchup. He was hitting bombs. He was hitting clean base hits to the right side, to the left side. And, when you have a guy like Eli Bahara leading off, who hasn't been the best, but is definitely doing,
He's not hitting.
He's not hitting.
I think the league is starting to figure him out.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning he was. Now he slowed down. I think he'll definitely get on base, here and there. Zach and Farka doing the job. Jake Braha behind them. They have Ike Mavora, who versus us was doing the job. And from what I saw from this team is what you want to see in Week 7. You want to see all the things, starting to pick up late in the season.
Start to click.
They were all one versus us. They were all together, all in the dugout. They're saying the right things, picking each other up. And I happen to
do a lot of this.
Yeah, flip, exactly. And I happen to love this team. I saw a lot of good stuff from them in Week 7. And, they're playing great defense. And
I feel like they're also getting a lot of production from the bottom of their order.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Ralph Cohen came through.
Ralph Cohen. Unbelievable.
Who else do they have in the bottom? Nate Kush has been great, I believe, this season. Not versus me.
Nate Kush hasn't been great this season. He's starting to get better contact. I feel like at the beginning of the season he's been lunging a lot. Yeah. Towards the end of the season, he hasn't been getting very lucky with balls dropping, but he's hitting harder line drives. He's looking more like Nate Kush. And listen, all will be forgotten if Nate Kush comes into the playoffs and starts really hitting.
Yeah.
And then they have guys like Joey Cohen, who's coming into his own, starting to hit balls.
Joey Cohen, from what I heard, I don't know if this should be said or not.
Say.
But from what I heard, Joey Cohen...
Nothing held back on this podcast.
Joey Cohen is looking at a lineup change. So I believe he was batting 6-7.
I don't think that Eli Braha is batting first.
I told Ike Mavora after our matchup, I said, you're better off leading off Joey Cohen the way he's been hitting. And I think that's what's happening. Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. I could be wrong.
I don't even think this is breaking news. I think Eli Braha.
No, you're right.
Eli Braha.
You're right. Listen.
God bless him. He came in hot. The league figured him out.
So
they're starting. He's starting to lunge a little bit at breaking balls, hitting pop-ups down left field line. It's just fine. There's no reason why the pressure has to be on a kid coming into the league. He's 18 years old. 100%. Bat him 8th, bat him 9th, and whatever production you get out of him, you get.
He doesn't know better. He doesn't know. He doesn't know not to swing at a 2-0 ball in the leadoff count.
it's okay to
or
be
2-0
aggressive,
strike.
but try to use the middle of the field. He has so much speed.
Yeah.
He's a guy like
can he do that though?
You know what? He's like
not
an
easy.
Alan Jamal. Use the middle of the field, hit grounders, and you'll get on.
Grounders I hear, but it's not easy for a guy to go up the middle. He probably can, probably can't. I don't know. But I think that's, don't you think it's a lot on a kid to tell him to go up the middle every time?
Sure, it's a lot. It's something that he has to work on.
Definitely a great player, going to be great in years to come.
Yeah, but Joey Cohen out of the middle spot,
Joey will be great.
I can see that happening. And then you have guys like Ike Mavora, who is just doing Ike
Mavora,
things.
clutch, baby.
Ike
clutch.
at this point is a single, but he's a 550 single.
And he's also getting...
He'll bet you 550, and then his slugging will be 550.
But he's also getting Farka and Z home. And Jake
Exactly.
Raha.
He's driving and runs. Ike, God bless you. You're looking good.
Awesome.
You're
Love you, Ike.
Really good.
One of my favorite players in the league.
And that team looks strong. I keep saying the same thing. The X factor on that team is not Sim Adler, and it's not Ralph Cohen, and it's not Joey Cohen. It's Farka and Z.
Definitely.
Not only Farka, it's Z.
Definitely.
Z going 3 for 6 on the day is not going to be. He has to take the team on his back, and he has to be an animal. You know what an animal is? What Jacobati did on Sunday. That's what I need to see out of Z, and I need to see similar out of Farka. Things that the Tar Heels did, carrying that team on your back as two first round picks, right? You guys made trades. Jigga made a trade to get Farka in that first round to be behind Z. Farka's got to be that guy.
Farka's got to step up.
He's got to be swimming Farka. If they put up performances like that, they're going to go far.
Definitely.
If not, they can't rely on the bottom of the order. They keep coming through.
Definitely.
I don't know. If listen, now predictions. I'm not going to make predictions yet before I talk about the other
Big
team.
Red. Yep.
Let's talk about Big Red. Okay, you have anything to add on the 61s? I think we combed through that.
Love their team.
Now,
love they got the mojo going, and I think that's what it. That's
let's get to BRM. So BRM, as we said, started hot. Now, when they were going well, when they started hot with the 8-0 start, they were clicking on all cylinders. They were getting production from everybody. Elliott Saka looked like an MVP candidate in those first 8 games.
Yep.
Charles Saka all season has been ridiculous.
Yep.
Maxi D just being Maxi D, throwing strikes, trusting his defense.
Dominant.
Sammy Saruya, a lot of extra base hits, and the main thing is his defense. I mean,
unbelievable.
He makes plays that nobody else can make at shortstop.
All of his singles or doubles.
Exactly.
It's incredible.
If you look at his slugging, I think he's slugging almost 1,000.
Wow.
He didn't bat great. He had 450 in his first year, but he's slugged almost 1,000.
Right.
And then you had guys like Alco who look really comfortable.
Yeah.
Alco is also a single as a double automatically with that speed. He wreaks havoc on the base paths, and he's playing a really good center field. And Bub is Bub. You know, he'll always bat 500. He'll always get his singles, always get his big hits. And then you have guys like Henry, who you played with him last year.
I love Henry Shalom, and I love that guy so much.
How calming is his presence, his veteran presence?
He did so much for me last year. He made me feel so comfortable, so confident in myself. A guy like that can really change a lot just with his words, his presence. You know, you just feel comfortable around him, and you want to.
Maybe Stratton could have used the.
I mean, we had Jody. Jody was great for me. Jody doesn't know it, but he was awesome. All his leadership.
He knows it.
Even without saying anything, just his veteran presence, and it was just amazing. But Henry's awesome. I love this Big Red team. I really do. I think the key for the 61 is to keep Sammy and Alco off the bases.
What about Yogi? What a year
Yogi's having a great year. I always saw this out of Yogi. When I look at Yogi, I look at a guy like Mikey Miz, like a guy who's very underrated, and a guy who I always thought was great. I heard he's doing an excellent job at the catcher position for Max. And
yes, that's always his focus.
Good for them, but he's smacking the ball.
Yeah, he's a scary bat at this point.
He's coming through. Hollywood's smacking the ball, coming through. You have the batting title, Charles Saka.
What a year Hollywood has been having.
It's just you have Ruby Shahibo who's playing an excellent first base. Gems by Ruby. Only gems. Excellent first base. Obviously, Elsak's playing great.
So one thing about Elsak. he cooled off a lot.
Yes, he did.
In the last couple of weeks.
So I think Elsak's gonna have a week. I do.
Why?
I played with him last year, and this guy, man, Elsak's really the greatest.
He's a
He has
professional
great energy, great attitude, great hitter, very confident.
He always has an idea of what he's doing before that bat. He's not just getting up there and hitting.
I think Elliot Saka steps up. I do, captain. I think he steps up. But I mean, it's two tough teams. It's going to be a dogfight. I'll tell you that. I think BRM might have the edge. I think so.
Let's get to predictions.
So I'll start. I think BRM might have the edge with Max on the bump, Jiga at catcher, or sorry, I'm guessing Yogi at catcher. I think all these guys, all 12 of them, really contributing. I think they have the edge, but I'm going 61s. I'm going 61s.
So they don't have the edge. Who has the edge?
I'm saying I think that they have the edge, but I think 61's upsets is what I tried to say.
You're saying that they're the favorites.
I think they're the favorites.
They're going to be upset.
And they're going to be upset. Maxi D, number one guy. I learned so much. I respect him so much. It's very hard to go against him. But I'm only doing this is because what I saw out of 61s in week 7. And they look. I will. Max knows I love him. It's nothing personal. Again, this is only because what I saw out of 61s in week 7 and what I saw out of BRM later in the season. I think BRM's just clicking more. 61s are going up and BRM's going down. That's how I look at it.
That's not false.
And I think 61s win in 3.
Wow.
That's my take. It's hard to go. Listen, it's very hard to go against Max. He's so good, especially playoff time. I might bite me back in the eyeball for doing this, but again, 61s look so good. Z going to left, Joey at short, Ike Mavora hitting, Jake Braha really stepping up. I think 61s are winning in 3.
Okay, so now, I disagree. I think
very fair, by the way. Very fair. Could go either way, this.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, two really good teams.
Yes.
I love BRM. I love them from the outset. From week 1, when Plakat played BRM, I thought they looked really good. Now, they're getting contributions from everybody in their lineup. Talking about Hollywood having career year, Yogi having a career year.
Yeah.
Sammy Saruya, Alco, Elsak, Charles Saka having a ridiculous year also. They're all doing their thing. They're clicking. Maxi D is awesome. I think that BRM is going to take this this series in 3 games. I think it's not going to be a sweep. I think it's going to be 3 games. They're just too good. I feel like I feel like they're going to click. Week 7 was a big indicator for me. Going into week 7, after they took a loss from Nanu Nation in game 2 in week 6, I was like, maybe Big Red is not the team that we thought they were. Yeah,
and it's one of the reasons why I'm going 61s. Also, by the way, big reason is because of all the chants in our matchup. I hated it. Obviously, I love it if my team's doing it.
Yeah, Big Red has.
But I hated it. That matchup.
Yeah, they both have.
Very frustrating to get swept by them, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going 61.
Yeah, but I like the way that Big Red looked in week 7.
Yeah.
It looks like they came back strong, even though they lost the game to the Heels.
Yeah.
They looked really strong, and I think things click back into place. Elliot Saka starts hitting again. Charles Saka continues being that hitter. I don't think it's an anomaly. I think Charles Saka winning that All-Star game MVP, that was real. A couple of big hits off Naby.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see Sim cruising for some reason. I don't know why.
I think Sim is a good matchup.
It is. Definitely is. I don't know.
Yeah, so I see Big Red taking that matchup, even though those 2 teams are looking really strong.
Really strong teams. Love both of them.
It's going to be a 6 series.
Hard to really even say who's going to win.
Are they going to be high scoring games or low scoring games? What do you think?
I think they are going to be low scoring games.
I think they're going to be very low. Both.
I think they're going to be. I think it might be 4-1, 4-2.
Maybe we'll have one blowout. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe like 5-2, something like that.
Yeah, I can see Big Red getting one big win. Yeah. With their big hitters, hitting some.
It's just
really
very hard to say that the 61s are going to lose after everything they've been through. It's very hard. They made some crazy changes, some ballsy changes, and they're just playing them. They're just on the same page.
One thing I would say is you have two pitchers who aren't going to walk guys.
Yes, definitely.
The ball is going to be in play all day. Sim Adler knows how to come in with an easy meatball strike if he's behind.
Definitely.
If he's stuck behind in a 3-1 count, he'll always come back in the count.
Yeah, I mean, I give you advantage.
And obviously Max doesn't walk guys either. So
yeah, I mean, obviously the 61 have advantage in the outfield. So I think a lot of fly balls, but we'll see. We don't know. We'll see. Very excited. Can't wait. Let's get into the other matchup, Hank.
Okay, let's get into the Tar Heels versus the long forgotten 12 Commandments. 12
Commandments.
Okay, let's talk about the 12 Commandments first, because this team has been so impressive since draft day.
Yes.
I remember going over to Saban after that draft and said, Saban, how the hell did you
pull it off? How'd you pull it off? How'd you do it?
How'd you draft Navy?
You got Navy on the mound and you have
first
the
round,
strongest lineup.
And then you go on to pick the most lethal offensive lineup that YMSL has ever seen. It is truly incredible. Up and down his draft, he got so many steals, so many.
So you're saying this is the best lineup in YMSL history?
And then he got guys like Ali Marshall becoming.
Yeah, what a year he's having.
He's MVP in my book.
Yeah, I voted Ali MVP.
So yeah, there's not enough that can be said about a guy that's that age and being this good, playing versus guys that are from age 20 to 30.
Yeah.
Playing toe to toe with them like it's nothing.
So good. Respect to you, Ali. You're unbelievable.
Right.
I want to be like you when I get older.
Right. So on the 12 Commandments, Navy has had basically a Navy season.
Yeah.
He has a pretty strong defense, especially with Ali playing a strong shortstop. He has a good defense. He has one of the best center fielder, I think, in the league, Nutty in center field. He's doing his job, not walking a lot of guys, keeping everybody in check. Obviously, he has his crazy stuff, getting his strikeouts. He's keeping his guys in games. I would say Navy is, pitching to his draft stock. He got picked in the first round, 3-4. He's that reliable, staple type of guy. He's having like a Max ED type of year. They're both awesome.
Yeah.
One second, let me get off of this exit. Now, type in Pine Park. Now, like we said, Ali Marshall, what a year he's had. I don't think Saban in his wildest dreams would have thought that he would have gotten that type of production from. I think he just wanted to play with his friend. He knew the type of shape that he was in going into the season, obviously, and this is what he got from Ali. And I think playoff Ali is going to be just as good as regular season Ali, just as clutch. He was the most clutch player in the YMSL.
He was unbelievable, and he said it too. He said how good he was going to be coming in.
Now, I want to talk about the guy that he picked with his second overall pick, and that was Mark Barsano at third base. Okay, Mark Barsano is having a year at the plate. A lot of pop-ups, a lot of fly balls, a little disappointing. Guys like me and guys that knew him coming in from the night league were saying, this guy's going to have a monster year. Hold on.
There we go.
This guy's going to have a monster year. And I think I'm going to go straight here.
Okay.
This guy's going to have a monster year, and he just didn't perform. Luckily for him, the rest of the lineup has been incredible and picked him up around him. The one thing I can say about Mark Barsano is the third base that he played this year was for sure number one in the league.
Yep.
So having a guy that that when the ball is hit the third base, he'll always make the play.
Don't hit it there.
Don't hit it to Mark Barsano. He's going to get you out.
Yeah.
That was Mark. I mean, Mark, at the end of the day, he batted .450 with a decent sluggy. He didn't live up to what we're used to seeing from Mark. But again, everything will be forgotten if Mark shows up in the playoffs and is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Who else does he have on that team that's been...
So Shimmy's been unbelievable, right? Shimmy's having a crazy
So Shimmy's
year.
having an incredible year, both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
He batted almost a 600 this year with power. Plus, he's playing Gold Glove right field. I know that I voted for Shimmy in right field over my own captain.
Yeah.
So Shimmy's having an incredible year. Even though he dropped that ball in right field in the All-Star game.
Yeah, but look at the plays he's making. Who cares?
Incredible.
Who cares about the All-Star game?
Those
Doesn't mean
those
nothing.
plays that he makes down the right field line,
Shimmy's
balls that
unbelievable.
tail, he's great. And
Hopefully
he's
one
having
day
a
me and
renaissance
Shimmy
year.
will be able to-
Guys forgot about Shimmy in this league. Guys
Definitely.
thought that Shimmy forgot how to play.
Definitely.
And he's been kept going down.
Shimmy killed me in the regular season. He got the big hit.
In the draft.
I walked to get the Shimmy, and he made me pay. He definitely did.
In the draft, he keeps dropping and dropping and dropping. Guys forget about him, and that's not going to happen.
Such a good pick. Look what he's doing this year.
Exactly. Bernie Pindeck.
Bernie Pindeck. is-
He had a disappointing year. We thought he was going to, bat a 450.
Right. What is he batting?
Be able to bat 6 or 7 in that line with no pressure, really.
Right.
And he batted a 350 with a little bit of power. But he's playing a good second base. He's holding out second base for them. Anything that's hit his way,
So I think
he's been
Bernie's
good. I think
yeah.
we were worried about his defense.
Yeah.
He picked it up. I think he's
Picked
been
it up.
good.
Looks like he's making the plays. Saban
Yeah.
loved it
Bernie-
on the
Bernie's-
mic up.
Bernie's a big game player. No,
I
he's
think-
been great for you in the playoffs last year.
I think Bernie's unbelievable. He's definitely not on a 350 average. I think Bernie's best week of the season was versus me, and which is later in the season. He had a bunch of nice shots, and I think maybe he'll step up. I think Bernie will step up. He did it last year in the postseason in M&S. I know it's different, can't compare, but Bernie's a gamer, so definitely.
And Saban is having a Saban year.
Saban's
always.
having a Saban
It's ridiculous
year.
the slot that he gets every single
Saban
year.
always hits, always gonna hit, never gonna
When is he
stop
going to get
hitting.
a normal
Yeah.
fair slot? Is he always going to be slotted in the 5th round?
It's crazy.
He's so good.
He's so good. He doesn't even go in the 5th round in a draft. That's the crazy part. He goes 3rd, 4th round.
He's never in a draft. I mean,
Never
I guess
in a
when he's on a
draft.
cap.
I'm saying if he wasn't in a draft, he would go 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, but he always gets a favorable slot. I mean,
Always.
he's a legend, so
He's a legend.
we'll give him
Saban, the
that.
legend. Who else do they have on the commandments that's sticking out this year? Let's go
And
through it.
then they have Ruby Shalou, who they stole in the 40s also, who's having a really good hitting season. And a guy like that, batting 7th.
Yeah, so Ruby's always known as
So
the
much
hitter.
power, such a good hitter.
I don't know how good of a year he's having in the outfield. I know he had a couple
He's not
play.
a great defensive outfielder.
Yeah.
Let's,
Yeah.
I know he likes to play really deep out there, likes to limit the damage, but he gets the
No.
job done.
And let's talk about
He's not
Nutty.
gonna expose you,
Let's
and
talk
then-
about Nutty, who's cooled down.
And then Nutty, wow.
Cool down.
So Nutty was like Joe G.
I thought Nutty was going to be MVP for sure. In my
Yeah, he had 6 home runs in the beginning of the season, and then I stole his bat from him. By the way, that was a big
Is that a
storyline.
real thing? He doesn't have his bat?
So it was my bat.
Wow.
And the week that we played 12 Commandments, basically I used the bat, and I actually had my first good week of the year.
Right.
And I'm like, Nutty, I'm sorry, I'm taking this bat with me.
Wow, which bat was it? The creature,
Monster.
the red one?
Monster.
Oh, the monster.
Monster.
Aha.
So I had a great week versus Navy. I was like, I'm taking this bat.
Wow.
And then I'm like, okay, this is going to get in Nutty's head, and he's going to start cooling off. And then he started taking a tailspin.
So it's funny, the
And
first
he
time...
lost his MVP chances. I don't think he's going to be the MVP after the start that he had is mind-boggling to see. He had kind of a Joe G year, where Joe G last year started very hot. He had that
And then
week
cooled
1,
off, yeah.
and then he started cooling
I mean,
off.
he did have 3 homers in week 1, did he not?
Yes.
That's
So-
exactly what Joe G did last year, right?
No, so I think Nutty had 2 home runs. I mean,
2.
Whatever. Very similar years.
Yes.
I hope Nutty, because I love him. I hope he has a great playoffs.
Me too. Love Nutty the best.
And he's the best. He is the best outfielder
Yeah.
in YMSL. Combine his speed, his breaks he gets on balls, and his ridiculous
His arm's
arm, his
insane.
accuracy. Pack that all together, he is number 1 outfielder in YMSL. So shout out to Nutty on that. And then they have Sam Ladden, who's having a really good year at DH.
Yes.
I mean, they got him in
having a
11th,
really good year.
11th or 12th round.
Yes.
So.
There's one player that I want to talk about very quickly. It's Rishti. I don't know what's going on with his glove. In the beginning, it was unbelievable. Started
Interesting. Yeah, he's slipping
started
a
to
little
make a
with
little
his
bit of
defense.
errors. They look like, they should be made.
I really like him.
I love this kid, by the way. Zvi Rishti, such a nice kid. His father's great. Legend, DR. I love Rishti. I think I was very confused why they put Nabi in the lineup over Rishti.
Did they do that?
In the big spot, in the bases loaded.
He's a decent hitter.
I mean, maybe he got bailed
really
out.
slow.
Yeah, I mean, he had some nice shots off me. It was a little confusing. But anyways, let's get on to we know about the Tar Heels. I don't think we have to say much.
Let's talk about the Tar
Okay,
Heels.
let's talk about the Tar Heels.
Now, the Tar Heels got a very interesting performance. Obviously, they had A.B. Saka. We spoke enough about that.
Yep.
If A.B. Saka keeps up what he's doing,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it's going to work versus the 12 Commandments, who has such a potent lineup. I think they figure it out. They make adjustments. They're not going to fall into that same lull that you guys fell into. But the Tar Heels offense basically was very one-sided. It was their top hitters coming to show. They showed up and played. JT not as much because he hit a lot of weak ground balls that weren't played.
Yeah,
but
I mean, Mark's gonna make all those
but
plays.
mainly Jimmy and Jack. Those two guys were 5 for 5, 5 for 6. They have to show up. They have to continue carrying that team. Yak has to continue getting
Ralph's
big hits.
got to hit. Allen's got to hit. They all got to.
So do they have to
This is
hit?
a tough team to beat. They have to hit. Of course, they got to put up runs.
Versus the 12 Commandments, they might have to, because 12 Commandments at any given time could put up a 3 spot.
You're not exactly.
At any given
You're
inning.
not okay with 4 runs versus team. You're not.
Right.
You're not safe with the 2-run lead.
So
going
not
into
getting
the second.
production. I could see them not getting production off Navy. If Navy limits the walks,
Yeah.
if he limits the walks
limits
versus
the
the
walks,
bad hitters,
I
I'm not
think-
talking about the good hitters, versus the bad hitters, versus the not bad
It
hitters.
really depends.
The guys at the bottom of that lineup.
Like JB, IG, Roland, maybe he's got to lock these guys down.
He's gotta just throw
He's got to lock
fastballs.
them down. If he does that, I think they'll be very successful. If Jack comes up with nobody on, Yak comes up with nobody on, I think they're in a good shape. They got to limit the traffic on the bases for sure for the big hitters in the Tar Heels lineup. Jack, Yak, and Jimmy could break the game open with one swing of the bat. You got to be careful. You got to get these guys off the bases. You must.
Okay, so let's get to predictions. What do you
Let's get the
think?
predictions. So I am going with my Cyclones. I'm going with the Tar Heels in 3.
What?
Yep, I'm going with my Cyclones. Jacobatti, Jimmy. That's what I'm going. How could I predict versus A.B. Saka after the performance he just did? Tar Heels looked amazing.
Because he's playing the 12 Commandments.
Yes, but the 12 Commandments just had a week off. They haven't played. Who knows? I'm going Tar Heels. Go Clones, baby. I'm going for Clones. Jacobatti, my guy. Jimmy, my guy. Yaksuya, my guy. Allen, Banana.
You ready for this?
Yes. Let's see what you got to say.
Are you done?
I'm done. Tar Heels, baby.
I say that this 12 Commandments team is so good.
Yes.
They're going to take the series in
Sweep, you're
2
saying.
games.
Wow.
And this is the reason why I'm saying this.
A.B. Saka does not go down in sweep.
This is the reason why I'm saying this. I love A.B. Saka. This 12 Commandments team is so potent as a lineup.
They have the Tar Heels.
From 1 to 10. Not 1 to 7. Not 1 to 8. 1 through 10. Okay? And this is without Mark Barsano and Bernie hitting.
That's true.
The entire season. If those guys show up and you still get the performances from Ali and you still get the performances from Saban and all these guys up and down the lineup are hitting, how is A.B. Saka going to come out of those games without giving up 7 runs?
I think his defense is really going to pick him up. I think they have the right defense for this team. I really think his defense is going to pick him up. We're going to see some spectacular plays. JB looked locked in versus us. I just see Tar Heels making some crazy plays, and I see everybody stepping up. And
So besides that offensive explosion that I'm predicting from the 12 Commandments, I don't see the Tar Heels, especially the bottom of that order, I don't see them hitting Nabi. All Nabi's got to do is stay in that, not locking down, just throw strikes to them. Throw 3 strikes in each at bat to each of those hitters. Roland, JB, Mog, if he gets at bats, Allen, Ralph. Throw strikes to those guys. Those guys should not be walking.
Yeah.
If he limits the walks on those guys, and even if Jack has a great week, which he probably will, and Jimmy has a great week, which probably will, they'll still win all those ball games with Nabi on the mound and shutting down those guys. I feel like the way you pitched versus the Heels in Game 1, if Nabi gives them that and shuts down the back of that lineup, they'll win in a sweep, resounding sweep. That's what I think.
I think the defense for 12 Commandments also has got to step up. I just, for some reason, I see a lot of infield hits on Sunday.
They've been one of the best defensive teams
They
in the league.
have been.
Underrated.
They have been. They're not wrong. Week off. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. I see Tar Heels really pulling out 2 wins.
How?
How?
I don't see how that
I think
happens.
A.B. Saka is going to have another great performance. I just see it. I mean, 12 Commandments didn't do much versus us. Such a good lineup. They, Nutty didn't hit. Barsano didn't hit.
So if Nutty and Barsano both,
Savon barely
if
hit.
Nutty and Barsano both got shut down,
Ali barely
if they
hit.
both show up cold, they're going to be in trouble. They need those guys. They need at least one of them, right? To
Yeah.
show up and play.
I mean, versus me, they all were going crazy. They're like, "Oh my God, your week was the 1 week that took away my MVP. Mark said he couldn't hit me. I messed up his numbers." It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. I think they didn't come to play versus us. They definitely weren't the 12 Commandments team that everybody was saying they were.
You're picking two upsets.
I'm picking two upsets.
You're picking the Heels and the 61s.
I'm picking the Heels and the 61s. I said it only because I said it in Chronicle.
My gosh.
In the first Chronicle, for all you guys that are still here, I said 12 Commandments and BRM will not be winning. So I gotta stick with it.
Stick with it.
I gotta stick with it. I'm riding it out. I'm psyched.
Okay, fair.
Wow.
All right, Ed. It's been
a pleasure.
This has been
What an episode. Wow.
Awesome
an hour
episode.
and 25
the fact
minutes.
that we didn't have Sammy here was so sweet
Yeah.
and nice.
Maybe I should be the new.
Sammy, we do not miss you, but come back. And wow, it's been real.
Wow,
And see you
unbelievable.
guys until next time.
Next time, baby.
Let the jingle roll, baby. Everyone loves some juicy SY softball hecky. It will only happen on Chronicles with Hank. Everyone's waiting for the next episode. It will only happen when we are in the car. Carpool Chronicles, Carpool Chronicles, Carpool Chronicles, Carpool Chronicles.
Oh, my goodness! The heroics! Hank versus Bishop!